Doña Isabel II was Queen Regnant of Spain from 1833 until 1868. She came to the throne as an infant, but her succession was disputed by the Carlists, who refused to recognize a female sovereign, leading to the Carlist Wars. After a troubled reign, she was deposed in the Glorious Revolution of 1868, and formally abdicated in 1870. Her son Alfonso XII became king in 1874. Birth and Regency. Isabel was born in Madrid in 1830, the eldest daughter of King Ferdinand VII of Spain, and of his fourth wife and niece, Maria Cristina of Bourbon to Sicilies. Queen Maria Cristina became regent on 29 September 1833, when her 3-year-old daughter Isabel was proclaimed sovereign on the death of the king. Isabel succeeded to the throne because Ferdinand VII had induced the Cortes Generales to help him set aside the Salic law, introduced by the Bourbons in the early 18th century, and to re-establish the older succession law of Spain. The first pretender, Ferdinand's brother Carlos, fought 7 years during the minority of Isabel to dispute her title. Carlos and his descendants' supporters were known as Carlists, and the fight over the succession was the subject of a number of Carlist wars in the 19th century. Isabel's reign was maintained only through the support of the army. The Cortes and the moderate liberals and progressives re-established constitutional and parliamentary government, dissolved the religious orders and confiscated the property, and tried to restore order to Spain's finances. After the Carlist War, the regent, Maria Cristina, resigned to make way for Baldomero Espartero, Prince of Vergara, the most successful and most popular Isabelline general. Espartero, a progressive, remained regent for only 2 years. Baldomero Espartero was turned out in 1843 by a military and political pronunciamiento led by Generals Leopoldo O'Donnell and Ramon Maria Narvaez. They formed a cabinet, presided over by Joaquin Maria López y López. This government induced the Cortes to declare Isabel of age at 13, marriage. 3 years later, on 10 October 1846, the moderate party made the 16-year-old queen marry her double first cousin Francisco de Asís de Bourbon, the same day that her younger sister, Infanta Luisa Fernanda, married Antoine d'Orléans, Duke of Montpensier. The marriages suited France and Louis-Philippe, King of the French, who as a result nearly quarreled with Britain. However, the marriages were not happy. Persistent rumor had it that few, if any, of Isabel's children were fathered by her king consort, rumored to be a homosexual. The Carlist party asserted that the heir apparent to the throne, who later became Alfonso XII, had been fathered by a captain of the guard, Enrique Puigmalto y Mayans. Isabel had 9 children, but only 5 reached adulthood. Ferdinand, Maria Isabel, Princess of Asturias, who married her mother's and father's first cousin Prince Gatan, Count of Girgenti. Maria Cristina, Alfonso XII, Maria de la Concepción, Maria del Pilar, Maria de la Paz, who married her cousin Prince Ludwig Ferdinand of Bavaria, Francisco de Asís, Eulalia de Asís de la Piedad, who married her cousin Infante Antonio, Duke of Galliera. The couple was rather caustically described by an English contemporary thus: "The Queen is large in stature, but rather what might be called bulkier than stately. There is no dignity either in her face or figure, and the graces of majesty are altogether wanting. The countenance is cold and expressionless, with traces of an unchastened, unrefined, and impulsive character, and the indifference it betrays is not redeemed by any regularity or beauty of feature. The king consort is much smaller in figure than his royal royal two-thirds, and certainly is not a type that could be admired for its manly qualifications, but we have to remember that in Spain aristocratic birth is designated rather by a diminutive stature and sickly complexion than by those attributes of height, muscular power, open expression, and florid hue, which in England constitute the ideal of race. Reign as an adult. Isabel directly reigned from 1843 to 1868, a period of palace intrigues, backstairs and antechamber influences, barracks conspiracies, and military pronunciamientos to further the ends of the political parties, moderados who ruled from 1846 to 1854, progressives from 1854 to 1856, and Union liberals from 1856 to 1863. Moderados and Union liberals quickly succeeded each other and kept out the progressives, thus sowing the seeds for the revolution of 1868. Queen Isabella often interfered in politics. She showed favor to her reactionary generals and statesmen and to the church and religious orders. Other events of her reign were the war against Morocco, which ended in a treaty advantageous for Spain and cession of some Moroccan territory, the fruitless Chincha Islands War against Peru and Chile, tensions with the United States, independence revolts in Cuba and Puerto Rico, and some progress in public works, especially railways, and a slight improvement in commerce and finance. Exile and Abdication. At the end of September 1868, Isabel went into exile, after her moderado generals had made a slight show of resistance that was crushed at the Battle of Alcalá by Generals Serrano and Prim. This revolt, which deposed Isabel, is known as the Glorious Revolution, and ushered the First Spanish Republic into power. The new government replaced Isabel with Amadeo I, second son of Victor Emmanuel II of Italy. After much deliberation, her exile helped cause the Franco-Prussian War, as Napoleon III could not accept the possibility that a German, Prince Leopold of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen, might replace Isabel, a dynast of the Spanish Bourbons and great-great-granddaughter of the French-born Philip V of Spain. The First Spanish Republic collapsed in December 1874. Isabel had been induced to abdicate in Paris on 25 June 1870, in favor of her son, Alfonso XII, furthering the cause of the Restoration. After the collapse of the Republic, Alfonso was placed on the throne. She had left her husband the previous March and continued to live in France after the Restoration in 1874, in a small circle with the Marquès d'Altavilla as her secretary. On the occasion of one of her visits to Madrid during Alfonso XII's reign, she began to intrigue with the politicians of the capital, and was peremptorily requested to go abroad again. She resided in Paris for the rest of her life, seldom traveling abroad except for a few visits to Spain. During her exile, she grew closer to her husband, with whom she maintained an ambiguous friendship until his death in 1902. Her last days were marked by the matrimonial problems of her youngest daughter, Eulalia. She died on 10 April 1904, and is entombed in El Escorial. Titles, styles and honors. Titles: 10 October 1830 to 29 September 1833. Her Royal Highness the Princess of Asturias. 29 September 1833 to 25 June 1870. Her Most Catholic Majesty the Queen of the Spains. 25 June 1870 to 10 April 1904. Her Majesty Queen Isabel II II of Spain. Styles. The underage Queen Isabel was known by the centuries-old feudal, symbolic, long title that included both extant and extinct titles and claims. Isabel II by the grace of God, Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, of the two Sicilies, of Jerusalem, of Navarre, of Granada, of Toledo, of Valencia, of Galicia, of Majorca, of Seville, of Sardinia, of Córdoba, of Corsica, of Murcia, of Menorca, of Jaéquiten, the Algarves, Algeciras, Gibraltar, the Canary Islands, of the East and West Indies Islands and mainland of the Ocean Sea, Archduchesses of Austria, Duchess of Burgundy, Brabant, Milan and Aspyorg, Countess of Flanders, Tyrol and Barcelona, Lady of Biscay and Molina. In 1837, Spanish legislation produced a constitutional monarchy and a new format of the title was used for Isabel. By the grace of God and the Constitution of the Spanish monarchy, Queen Isabel II of the Spain's honors, national honors Spain, a former 16th sovereign and 847th knight with collar of the Royal Spanish Order of the Golden Fleece. Spain, former sovereign knight Grand Cross with collar of the Order of Charles III. Spain, a former 4th sovereign, former 5th head mistress and 562nd Dame head cross of the Order of Queen Maria Luisa. Spain, former sovereign knight Grand Cross with collar of the Order of Isabella the Catholic. Spain, knight Grand Cross with collar of the Civil Order of Alfonso X. Spain, former sovereign knight Grand Cross with collar of the Royal Military Order of St. Hermenegildo. Spain, former sovereign knight Grand Cross of the Order of Military Merit, First Class. Spain, former sovereign knight Grand Cross of the Order of Naval Merit, First Class. Spain, former sovereign knight Grand Cross of the Royal Military Order of St. Ferdinand. Spain, former sovereign knight of the Royal Military Order of Calatrava. Spain, former sovereign knight of the Royal Military Order of Santiago. Spain, former sovereign knight of the Royal Military Order of Alcantara. Spain, former sovereign knight of the Royal Military Order of Montesa. Foreign honors Austria, Knight Grand Cordon with collar of the Order of St. Stephen of Hungary. Austria, Dame of the Order of the Starry Cross, First Class. Brazilian Imperial and Royal Family, Knight Grand Cordon of the Imperial and Royal Order of Christ. Brazilian Imperial and Royal Family, Knight Grand Cordon with collar of the Imperial and Royal Order of the Southern Cross. France Bourbon French Royal Family, Knight Grand Cross of the Royal Order of the Holy Spirit. Bourbon French Royal Family, Knight Grand Cross with collar of the Royal Order of St. Michael. French Imperial Family, Knight Grand Cordon with collar of the Imperial Order of the Legion of Honor. Germany Bavaria, Knight Grand Cross with chain of the Order of St. Hubert. Bavaria, Dame Grand Cross of the Order of Teresa. Bavaria, Dame Head Cross of the Order of St. Elizabeth. Saxony, Knight Grand Cross of the Order of the Rue Crown. Saxony, Dame Grand Cross of the Order of Sidonia. Saxony, Dame of the Order of Maria Anna, Special Class. Greece, Knight Grand Cross of the Order of the Redeemer. Italy, Knight Grand Collar of the Supreme Order of the Most Holy Annunciation. Italy, Knight Grand Cordon of the Order of Saints Maurice and Lazarus. Italy, Knight Grand Cordon of the Order of the Crown of Italy. Vatican Holy See, Knight Grand Cross with collar of the Supreme Order of Christ. Two Sicilies, Knight Grand Cross with collar of the Order of St. Januarius. Two Sicilies. Bailiff, Knight Grand Cross with collar of the Two Sicilian Sacred Military Constantinian Order of St. George. Mexican Imperial Family, Knight Grand Cordon with collar of the Imperial Order of Guadalupe. Mexican imperial family. Dame Headcordon of the Imperial Order of St. Charles. Monaco, Knight Grand Cross of the Order of St. Charles. Portugal, Knight Grand Cross of the Order of the Immaculate Conception of Vila Vicosa. Portugal, Knight Grand Cross with Collar of the Order of the Tower and Sword. Portugal, Dame Head Cross of the Order of St. Isabel. Honorific eponyms. Philippines. Cavite, Bridge of Isabel II Isabella. Manila, El Banco Español Filipino de Isabel II, former name of the current Bank of the Philippine Islands. Ancestry. Film Portrayal. In the 1997 film Amistad, she was played by Ana Paquin, and is depicted as a spoiled 11-year-old girl.